Welcome to another episode of Scottish Watches Unboxed. Today we'll be laying bare the Laco Munchen, a new watch, and the unboxing is going to be done by one of our own, Chris Morgan-Jones, a contributor for the website with his articles and a lot of other stuff. So sit back and enjoy.
So a few weeks ago, I was writing the Last Week in Watches article for Scottish Watches, and there was one watch that stood out for me. It's the Laco Munchen. The guys at Laco, they have sent me a press sample, which I can check out for the next few days. I'll do a hands-on review of this, which will be up on the website at some point. So yeah, here goes. Here is the Laco Munchen. Comes in quite a nice cardboard outer box. You've got a certificate there that comes with it. And inside there is a nice leather inner box, a watch box, which I'll open up now. I'll be honest, I have already opened this up once. My phone didn't save the video that I recorded, so this is a second opening. But yeah, so here we have it. It is the Laco Munchen. You've got your guarantee, warranty card, all of that stuff in there. And here is the watch itself. So I'll just move that out of the way. So the thing that stood out for me and that appealed for me about this watch is if somebody said a chronograph with day date, I tend to think of a watch that's quite overly complicated and fussy, quite a busy dial. But actually, this in the press photos is quite understated. And I'd say actually in my hand, it seems even more understated. So the subdials and day date, they're all in a dark grey against the black. But the time of the watch obviously has much better contrast because it's basically white hands indices, healthy dose of lume as well. So it's a watch that looks like a traditional pilot's watch, but also has the added benefit of the chronograph and day date complications. So for me, I quite like a watch that's got quite a simple aesthetic, that's not too complicated or fussy. And I'll be honest, I'm always on the fence about day and date complications because on the one hand, I prefer the look of a watch without them, but with them, I actually do use the day and date quite a lot. Every day I find it quite helpful to have that kind of complication, so I don't mind that. Chronograph, I don't really see the point of nowadays because if I'm going to time anything, realistically, I'm going to use my phone to time it. I don't think that a chronograph is necessarily that helpful as a complication for most people day to day. But I do appreciate that there's a long history of chronographs, and this watch, for example, it's got a 7750, so Valjoux 7750 movement in it. And that was a movement that was created in response to the automatic chronograph that was developed by Breitling, Hoyer, Hamilton, and a couple of others. So it's a movement that's actually got some history, and it's a movement that doesn't have a patent anymore. The patent's expired, so you get quite a few companies making their own variations of it. But it's got quite an interesting movement in that sense, and it's a talking point. So this watch itself, the case, it's got a stainless steel case, but they've given it a titanium finish, so I'm not entirely sure how they've done that. I think they've probably gone for some kind of blasting, so it's got a nice matte finish. So even though it's quite a big watch, it's quite understated. And when I say big, it's not big by traditional pilot's watch standards. So traditionally, you'd have been looking at a 55mm watch that you could wear and see over a flight suit, or sometimes they'd even strap them around their thighs. You know, it was all about legibility, and they were large. By that standard, this is quite small, so this is 42.3mm, but obviously it's still a substantial watch. In terms of other dimensions, it's 50mm lug to lug, and so 20mm lug width. I think it's about 14.7mm high, so it's a decent sized watch. It's quite substantial. I have set the time and date on this already, because obviously I'd already unboxed this once, and I will now put it on my wrist and we'll see what it looks like. So there we go. Like I said a few minutes ago, it's quite a large watch, quite substantial, but not as big as the traditional old pilot's watches would have been. It's not up to that 55mm size. But I'd say it looks good on the wrist. It's quite good as a sporty watch. I'm not sure that I would necessarily go for wearing it with a suit, but I can see it being quite nice as an option for weekends or more casual occasions. But yeah, I'm looking forward to wearing this over the next few days and doing a write-up on it, letting you know my thoughts once I've had it on the wrist for a few days. So there we have it. Hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks.